Okay, in the pre-fertilization structure, what we are going to discuss is basically the androecium, how it is organized, right? So the androecium is made up of stamen. Androecium is made up of stamen that is present in n in number, right? So if you're talking about the filament, an anther are the part of stamen. The filament and anther are the part of stamen that we already narrated for you, right? So the thalamus is a structure. For example, if you're talking about the flower stalk, is called a pedicel that is having exactly the thalamus structure. This thalamus structure is the base of the flower, is the base of the sepal and petal, right? Now, we already told you the anther is having pollen grain in it. The pollen grain is having male gamete in it. So male gamete are present in n in number. Pollen grain are present in n in number inside the anther of the stamen. That means the stamen is not only having anther, it is also having filament in it, right? So the anther, if you're talking about, it is having two layers. The layers of the anther we used to call as theca. The layer of the anther is called theca. That anther is having microsporangium is singular, microsporangia is plural. Microsporangia is plural, microsporangium is singular, right? Microsporangium is singular, microsporangia is plural. This microsporangium is having spore mother cells. For what? For to make the spores. So spore mother cell is a cell which is present in n in number in microsporangium. Microsporangium, the word I already told you, geum. Microsporangia is singular, microsporangia is plural. This microsporangia is present inside the anther. The anther is having a cover. That cover or a layer is called theca. So theca or layer of anther or the cover of the anther, microsporangium are present many in number in microsporangia. Microsporangia is a part of anther. This microsporangium is having spore mother cells to make the spores, right? These spores are nothing but what? Sex spores. What is the difference between sexual spore and asexual spore? Sexual spores are called as N. So why it is called symbolized as N? Why? Because it is having off of the parental chromosome. Sexual spore is also symbolized as N because it has off of the parental chromosome. Whereas the asexual spore, the word I should not supposed to use in this junction. Asexual spore, the word I should not supposed to use. Only sexual spore, the word I can use, that is symbolized as N. These sexual spores are making the sex cells or gametes or reproductive cell. So either you say reproductive cell or sex cell or gamete, which is formed by the sexual spore, which is formed by spore mother cell. Spore mother cell is a part of microsporangium. Microsporangium is a part of the anther. Okay, microsporangium is a part of anther, right? So the other name of the sexual spore is also called as pollen grain. So in the CBSE board exam, sometimes they'll say sexual spore, sometimes they'll say pollen grain, sometimes they will say the product of sex mother cell. Okay, they will use multiple terminology. We should be competent enough to correlate multiple information to say the exact information for the answer. So you know very well the anther is made up of theca, like this I narrated already. In addition to this theca layer is made up of sublayers, epidermis, endothecium, middle layer, tapetum. So be very careful. This endothecium, instead of saying endothecium, endothelial cell, the word they will use. Endothelial cell is the part of endothecium. This endothecium is there in the kidney also. When I'm doing zoology or the biology, endothecium will come. Okay, be very careful where, how we are using, right? So these four layers are the part of the anther, which is the protective layer, what it does exactly. The innermost tapetum nourishes the pollen grain. Nourishes the pollen grain. The tapetum nourishes the pollen grain. The pollen grain also called as microspore. If you're talking about the cytoplasm, which is very thicker, for each and every word, hidden meaning is there. What hidden meaning? I'm not understanding. Thick cytoplasm. Why it is called thick cytoplasm? Because it has nutrients in it. That is why it is thick. Why the nutrients are required? Why I need the nutrients in the cytoplasm? Why? Because I need to nourish pollen grain. Why I need to nourish pollen grain? Because the pollen grain need to develop the male gamete. Why we need male gamete? Why? Because male gamete is required for fertilization. Why we require fertilization? Then only zygote will be formed. Why we require zygote? Then only embryo will be formed. Why we require embryo? Then only plant will be formed. So we should be very careful in each and every hidden concept of one sentence and one word, right? The nuclei, the word denotes a plural. Nucleus is singular. Nuclei is plural, right? We should be very, very careful when we are writing each and every answer, right? So here the anther is having a sporogenous tissue, which is very, very important to make the microspore mother cells. The microspore mother cells are making the spores are making the gamete, right? This is the message we should understand. So, what are the things I narrated that is given in the picture to have a better understanding? Microspore mother cell makes microspore, also called as pollen grain, right? So, tapetum is the outermost layer of the anther which nourishes the pollen grain. So, when I was like you, I used to see the picture and I used to ask what this pollen grain does, what this tapetum does, what this vascular bundle does, what this middle layer does. So by asking questions to each and every word, we can bring many message. So vascular bundle is made up of xylem and phloem. Why we need xylem? For water circulation. Why I need phloem? For food circulation. Okay. So here like this, we need to ask questions for each and every word and we can understand. You are saying pollen grain is produced by microspore mother cell. How? How it is possible? Which event is responsible? Meiosis. What do you mean about meiosis? So meiosis gives rises to four daughter cells. Meiosis gives rises to four daughter cells. Those four daughter cells are called as pollen grain. So one microspore mother cell can make four pollen grain in one stretch. Be very careful. Mathematical biology is there in this chapter. For making 32 pollen grains, how many microspore mother cells are required? For making 32 pollen grains, how many microspore mother cells are required? So divided by 4, right? We should be very, very careful in saying all these messages, right? So here, meiosis process is very, very important to make the pollen grain, right? And then the pollen grain makes male gamete. Like this, we already narrated for you. That is okay. How the male gamete is formed by the pollen grain by which particular process? Mitosis process. So mitosis process is very, very important to make the male gamete in the pollen grain. That means for making two male gamete, I require one pollen grain. So that means for making the 24 male gamete, I required 12 pollen grain. So we should be very, very careful in mathematical biology. We should be very, very careful with the terms. We should be very, very careful how the pollen grain is formed from microspore mother cells by which particular process? Meiosis process. Because of meiosis, how many pollen grains will be formed? 4 pollen grains will be formed. Because of mitosis, how many male gametes are formed? 4 male gametes are formed. So we should be very, very careful in understanding all this segment, right? So now, if you are entering into this particular microsporogenesis, genesis means synthesis. So when we are seeing each and every word, we are going to the next topic called microsporogenesis that I already told to you. Genesis means synthesis. What is synthesized? Microspore is synthesized. What do you mean about microspore? Pollen grain. Who is making this? Who is making this? Microsporangium. Microsporangium. So microsporangium is present where exactly? In the sporogenous tissue. In the sporogenous tissue, sporangium is present. Sporangium is making what? Sporangium is having what? Spore mother cell. Spore mother cell is making what? Microspore. If I need microspore, I need microspore mother cell. If I need spore mother cell, I need sporangium. If I need sporangium, I need sporogenous tissue. If I need sporogenous tissue, what I need? I need what? Anther. I need anther. I need anther. Inside the anther, sporogenous tissue. This tissue makes spore mother cells. Spore mother cells makes spores, right? So be very careful with all those things, right? So now we are entering into the next concept. See, listen, when we are narrating each and every concept, we should be very, very careful. What is this tetrad denotes? 4 number. What is 4? What is 4? Pollen grain is 4. Pollen grain is 4. So that is why they are using the word tetrad. Okay. This microspore is formed by whom? Microspore mother cell. Microspore mother cell of what? Sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue is present where? In the anther. Anther is present where? In the stamen. In the stamen. Stamen is present where? In the androecium. In the androecium, stamen is present. So always when I was like you, I used to make the box like this so that what I understand. Anther is having sporogenous tissue. Sporogenous tissue is having spore mother cells to make the SMC. Spore mother cell makes spores. Okay. So I used to write like this. So stamen is having anther. Anther is having sporogenous tissue. This tissue is having spore mother cell. Spore mother cell is having spores. So always I'll keep the short notes when I am studying, when I was like you, next to the content of the book. So that what you can revise it very fast, because tomorrow morning is your exam, right? So we can't read each and every sentence in detail. So we'll refer the short notes and we'll run, right? So now we'll be coming for the next concept. Male gametophyte, the word we are saying for the pollen grain because it makes male gamete. Because it makes male gamete. Sir, you told this male gametophyte or pollen grain also called as microspore. Yes, of course, I told microspore. So microspore or pollen grain is having male gametophyte. In some countries they will say male gametophyte. In other countries they will say male gametophyte is the other term for pollen grain. Accept it. So developed microspore is called pollen grain or male gametophyte, which is going to make the male gamete. The male gamete, the word I can say as single N. The microspore, the word I can say single N. What do you mean about single N? Single N, you are saying haploid. What do you mean about haploid? Having off of the parental chromosome. So having off of the parental chromosome, which we are observing in male gamete, which you are observing in microspore. So male gamete is formed by microspore. Microspore is formed by spore mother cell, right? So for getting the male gamete from microspore, I need only mitosis. I don't want meiosis. For getting microspore, I need meiosis. So don't have the negative mindset that always the haploid or single in the word I can say only for mitosis or I can say only for meiosis. No, you should be very careful. Male gamete is formed from the microspore because of mitosis process. Microspore is formed because of meiosis process. But microspore is also haploid. Male gamete is also haploid. Be very careful how it is formed, where it is formed. Why? Because based on this, mathematical biology is there, right? So the pollen grain, when we are examining under the high resolution light microscope or polarized light microscope, we can see the micrometer. The micrometer, the symbol is like this mu, the word in physics you are saying as frequency. So here the mu denotes what? Micrometer, mu m. Instead of using the word micrometer, they will say mu m. Accept it. If they're saying millimeter, don't accept it. Okay, if they're saying nanometer, don't accept it. If they're saying centimeter, don't accept it. In the choose the best answer or match the following, they will ask the question. Be very careful, right? So pollen fossils are existing for many years because of the presence of sporopollenin. Why? 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 We need to ask question why? How it is possible? The sporopollenin is a rigid lipid molecule. This rigid lipid molecule sporopollenin is not allowing the pollen grain to get decayed very faster. So that is the reason why the pollen grain is sustaining and having the credential to live for many years, right? So now the pollen grain is having the outer layer exine, which is made up of sporopollenin, not allowing the pollen grain to get decayed or to get breakage very easily, right? So the sporopollenin, organic molecule means carbon molecule. this carbon molecule sporopollen of the exine not allowing the pollen grain to get decayed because it is temperature resistant, acid resistant, enzyme resistant. So this much credential is where we are observing in sporopollen is a strong lipid molecule. Instead of saying like this, we can say it is a it is a lipoprotein. It is a lipoprotein or it is a glycoprotein. It is a glycoprotein. Sporopollen is a glycoprotein. Glycoprotein. The glycoprotein, the word I am saying for sporopollen because it is has the credential to make the pollen grain to sustain and thrive very nicely in the adverse climatic condition, right? Be very careful with this. So they will ask twisted questions. There is no direct question. Okay, once upon a time, they used to ask a lot of tough questions like this. You don't think of. They won't ask define exine. They won't ask define in time. How come sporopollen is working in a classic way, in a such a way the pollen grain will be not distracted, or will be not broken very easily. Like this, they will ask the twisted questions, and then the intine is made up of the cellulose and pectin. Um, we know very well the cellulose is a polysaccharide, that too homopolysaccharide. The word I am saying for cellulose is a single chain molecule, which is made up of many number of glucose. So that means what is the formula of cellulose? Okay, here is C6H12O6, okay, into the power of N. Okay, it is made up of a linear glucose chain. Okay, it is not made up of branched glucose chain, right? So in the CBSE board exam, they'll say in exine or intine, where you are observing the linear glucose chain like this, they will ask. They will not say cellulose. They will not say cellulose. We should be very careful in handling all these things, right? The pollen grain contains two cells that we already told to you long back, which is the outcome of meiosis process or mitosis process. It is the outcome of mitosis process, the process by which the two cells which are formed in pollen grain is mitosis process, right? So now we'll be entering into the next topic. Before that, I'll say the pollen germination. The pollen is germinated. The pollen is developed. The pollen made the tube. All these things denotes germination, germination, germination. Multiple sentence, multiple technical sentence they will use. Pollen germinated, pollen developed, pollen tube evolved, pollen tube originated. This pollen tube origination happens once it is getting attached to the stigma or the female reproductive structure, right? The stigma, once it is holding the pollen grain, at that time only the pollen tube will be formed. Okay, who is responsible for this? Who is responsible for this? Calcium. Like this, many molecules are responsible for the pollen tube formation, like borate is the other molecule which makes the pollen tube formation to happen, right? So now we are entering into the next important concept, which is nothing but the vegetative cell and the generative cell, which are the part of the pollen grain. That is very, very important to make the pollen grain to get evolved further. This vegetative cell nourishes the generative cell. Basically, this generative cell, the word we are saying for the male gamete making mother cell. Male gamete making mother cell is the other term for generative cell. We need to refer, okay, last 20 years question papers when you're referring in 1 year, instead of saying generative cell, they are saying male gamete mother cell. Instead of saying vegetative cell, now, okay, generative cell, nourishing cell. Generative cell, nourishing cell is vegetative cell. So generative cell, nourishing cell is vegetative cell. Okay, instead of saying generative cell, they are saying male gamete mother cell. So they are using multiple words. You need to refer many books. You need to sit and study for many number of hours. Then we can balance it everything, right? So in the cytoplasm of the exactly the pollen grain, the very well the generative cell nucleus is present here exactly, and vegetative cell nucleus is present exactly. By seeing this picture, what type of question will come in the CBSE board exam? In the pollen grain, are you observing centric nucleus? No. Are you observing acentric nucleus? Yes. Why you are saying like this? Because the vegetative nucleus is at exactly in the nearby to periphery. What do you mean on periphery? Poles. So nearby to periphery or nearby to pole, vegetative nucleus is present. Not exactly in the center like generative cell, right? So both the nucleus are far away from each other, not exactly residing in the center. That is the reason why I am using the word acentric nucleus, the word. So acentric nucleus, the word I am using for the generative nucleus and vegetative nucleus. Okay. Now we need to understand the male gamete is formed by the generative cell that we already told to you long back. In this particular contest, we need to understand this information we are narrating for the angiosperm. The pole in the word I can't use for thallophyta. That means algae. The pole in the word I can't use for pteridophyta. The pole in the word I can't use for bryophyta. Then where I can use? I can use for gymnosperm. I can use for gymnosperm. I can use for angiosperm. For gymnosperm and angiosperm alone, I can use the word pollen grain. I can't use for other things, right? So be very careful. Explain the pollen grain in different division. Means the pollen grain, the word I can use only for two division. One is gymnosperm, another is angiosperm. Okay, this angiosperm is here and gymnosperm. The word suffix you add, okay, after the gymnosperm, right? So now we are coming for the next point is humidity. We know very well the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere is called humidity. The humidity decides the pollen grain viability and germination. Temperature decides. So the pollen grain sustains in the nature depending upon the sporopollenin ingredients in the enzyme. If sporopollenin is huge, then the pollen grain sustained for many years. Okay, if it is less, it's sustained only for few months, right? So now, thanks for discussing this information. Now we are entering into the examples. Okay, do flower? These are all the hot questions repeatedly asked in many number of years. We should be very careful in understanding, right? So, do flower blooms without pollination? Yeah, but it won't become the fruit. But it won't become the fruit. Okay. Here, the stamen are the same flower to the stigma. The pollen grain, the pollen grain is transferred in the same flower, right? So, example is home orchard or garden. So here, in this orchard plant, okay, you can't see the fruits, right? So, do flower blooms without pollination? Okay. Yes, of course it happens. Okay, but it won't make the fruits, right? So now, like this type of hard questions, if you're keeping on discussing, then we can face the exam, even if it is coming in a different tough level. Okay. So now, if you're talking about seed develops independently of pollination, apomixis, okay, used to produce a seed without fertilization. Without fertilization. That means the male gamete and female gamete are not fusing with each other to make the zygote, which is nothing but a developing embryo. The zygote I can't call as embryo, but instead of that, I can say developing embryo is also symbolized as 2n. 2n or zygote, also called as developing embryo. A product of fertilization is not happening in the fertilization like this. I not told. Zygote formation happens, but without fertilization, right? So this is a type of asexual reproduction, right? So then if there is no fusion of male and female gamete, if there is no fusion of male and female gamete, how come the zygote will be formed? How come zygote will be formed? We are not understanding. Okay, the female gamete is having the probability to become zygote directly without the help of male gamete. Without the help of male gamete, I am a female gamete, I will become a zygote. That happens in a few cases, but not everywhere, like in citrus fruits. The other probability is nucellus, is a structure. This nucellus, not nucleus. Many people are getting confused with nucleus and nucellus. So the nucellus, the word, is used for the nourishing structure or the ovule. This nucellus after getting breakage into small pieces, develops into zygote. The nucellus, a nourishing structure of the ovule of the female ovary, had the potential to become a zygote. So without the help of male gamete. So fertilization is not mandatory to make the fruits every time. But in most of the cases, fertilization is required. But in a few cases, like lemon, we don't want fertilization. Now, why do pollinators request assistance, right? So sickness, okay, chemical poisoning have been contributed to a shortfall of the pollinator species, right? Here, you know very well. For example, I am a technician working in horticulture. While doing the promoted pollination or controlled pollination, I'm having the maximum probability of getting entry of pollen into my nasal cavity. As a result, I'll be sneezing, I'll be having cough, cold, my running nose is all the things because of the pollen growing entry into my nose. So, being a horticulture or being an agriculture technician, I should be very careful while doing the pollen grain operation, while doing the flower cultivation. Now, I think so. You all understood this message. Anyone of you having any doubt, please let me know so that what we are ready to help you out. So now you can ask any questions. Okay, in Q&A section, right? If you're talking about what is the primary function of the ovary in the flower, okay, the primary function of the ovary in the flower is production of pollen. No. Okay, there is a completely belongs to male reproductive system, not female reproductive system. Okay, so attraction of the pollinators. Yes, of course, attraction of the pollinators, attraction of the pollinators, attraction of the pollinators, right? So if you're talking about the year which are essential for the formation of successful fertilization, so here you need to understand the protection, the protective enclosure of the developing ovule. So you are saying protective enclosure for the developing ovule, okay, which are essential for the seed formation. Like this, you're saying, okay. Can you explain to us what is the protective cover of the ovule? We used to call as integument. So this integument is a word in the zoology. If you're using, it is called skin. But in the ovule, it denotes the two layer of the ovule is called integument. Outer integument, inner integument, or two integuments which are present inside the ovule. So ovule is having two integument, right? Now, these integuments, after the fertilization process, is going to become the seed coat, which is going to decide the seed germination time period so that the plant development period will be calculated, right? So now, I think so you understood this message. Now we'll go to the second question. Um, which part of the flower receives pollen during pollination? Of course, stigma, right? So we all know very well the stigma receives the pollen grain. Okay. So instead of asking the same type of question this year in the board exam, if they're asking the stigma of the female reproductive organ receives the pollen grain, okay. But which chemical makes the pollen grain to get adhered or attached or sticky? The reason is because of the chemical other than calcium ion, other than borate. Can you say any other example? Of course, we can say sucrose. Sucrose is there in the NCR textbook. Sucrose is there in the NCR textbook. Sucrose of the stigma makes the pollen grain attachment to the stigma. Okay. Instead of saying the word sucrose, they will say non-reducing disaccharide. Non-reducing disaccharide. So non-reducing disaccharide, they'll say, or table sugar or invert sugar. So sometimes they'll say table sugar, sometimes they'll say invert sugar, sometimes they'll say non-reducing disaccharide, sometimes they will say sucrose. So we should be very, 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 very careful in choosing the option. Easy questions are asked only less number of time. So instead of saying the word sucrose, they are saying non-reducing disaccharide. Sometimes they are saying table sugar. Sometimes they are saying invert sugar. Okay, other than sucrose, borate, other than borate, calcium ion makes the pollen grain adherences or attachment to the stigma, right? So we should be careful the word we are using for the female reproductive system. right? There is gynoecium, which is having many important segment. See, I'm a special CBE officer. When I'm seeing the picture, I'll see in many dimensions. For example, I'm a culprit or I'm a terrorist. So being a police, they're asking how many email IDs, how many Twitter ID, how many Facebook ID, how many mail ID, how many phone numbers you are having, right? The same way, you are seeing the picture. In this picture, this flower is a unisexual flower or a bisexual flower? Yes, of course, it is a bisexual flower. Why? Because it has both male and female reproductive organ. Okay. Now, you can see if you're observing this flower very, very seriously, there is no sepal and petal. The sepal and petal together we used to call as tepal. So the tepal, the word I'm using for this structure, right? So this is not a unisexual flower, it is a bisexual flower. Why? Because it has both male and female reproductive organ in it. The monocarpal, the word denotes single carpal. Single carpal or single pistil. Single carpal or single pistil, the word I can use it for this particular narration, right? Multicarpal, okay? Multicarpal, the word I'm using the word for syncarpus, if it is free. So if it is few, okay, if it is free, apocarpus, if it is attached syncarpus. So the multiple carpal, if it is attached syncarpus, apocarpus, okay. But what is the hidden meaning behind this? What is hidden meaning behind this? Either it is free or it is attached. Okay, multicarpal means many seed. We are going to get many seed. Okay, I saw the flower with multicarpal. That means I'm going to get multi-seeded fruit. So what do you mean about that? Can you give an example for that? Okay, dragon fruit. Okay, pomegranate. Okay, jackfruit. Okay. So sometimes they will ask us to write the example for the multicarpal. Sometimes they will ask us to write the example for the apocarpus. Sometimes they will ask you to give the example for the syncarpus. So sometimes they will ask example. Sometimes they will ask the other term for multicarpal, polycarpal. Okay, the syncarpus is nothing but what? Syncarpus is nothing but what? Okay, here syncarpus is fused. Okay, and the later one is what? Free. Apocarpus, syncarpus. Monocarpallary, multicarpallary. So these many number of words we should understand. So the embryo sac is very, very important to understand, is the other term for female gametophyte. So female gametophyte is also called as embryo sac. Can I say pollen sac is the other word for male gametophyte? No, no. The pollen sac, the word, I can't say for male gametophyte. Whereas the embryo sac, the word, I can say for female gametophyte. Then what do you mean about male gametophyte? Male gametophyte is also called as pollen grain. So here the confusion starts. So all sacs are gametophyte. Like this we used to think. No, no. Male gametophyte is also called as pollen grain, whereas female gametophyte is also called as embryo sac. Embryo sac is the part of the ovule. Is the part of the ovule, right? Megasporangium is made up of megaspore mother cells. These megaspore mother cells, which is responsible for making the megaspore. Megaspore. What do you mean about megaspore? Megaspore is formed by megaspore mother cell. Okay. What is megaspore is going to become female gametophyte. What is the other name of female gametophyte? Okay. Embryo sac. This embryo sac is going to have which particular structure? Egg. I got egg because of whom? Female gametophyte. I got female gametophyte because of what structure? Megaspore. Megaspore I got because of what? Megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell is formed by whom? Megasporangium. Megasporangium is present where? Megasporangium is present where? In the nucellus. Nucellus is present where? Inside the ovary. Inside the ovary where? Inside the ovary where? Ovule outer cover. In the ovule outer cover, nucellus is present. This nucellus is having what? Megasporangium. Megasporangium is having what? Megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cells makes what? Megaspore. Megaspore is going to become what? Embryo sac. Embryo sac is going to make what? Egg. So we need to ask n number of time, okay, between us. Okay, for when I was like you, I used to ask questions on my own, and then I'll say the answers for everything, right? So always, okay, here reading for reading the slide, go to university team is not there. We are bringing multiple tough questions of previous board papers in such a way you will nourish very nicely with your maximum marks, right? That is why we made this exclusive session for you people, right? So the color of the sepal or petal is the attractant for the pollinators. Instead of saying that, we can say one more term. Okay, one more term, what we can say? Smell, color. So that means for the insect, the two things are working. Which two things are working? I'm not understanding. Smell and the sight. The sight is the sight and the smell are the attractant. Smell and the sight are the attractant for the insects, right? So these are the keywords. After writing the keywords, we need to underline the keywords. That is very, very important, right? Now we are entering into the next important concept. In the stigma, the pollen grain, once it is getting attached, what is happening to the flower? Okay, the pollen grain makes a pollen tube which enters into the stigma of the female reproductive system. Okay, we already told to you. Can you see this? The stigma, and this is the style, and this inside ovary is there. Okay, so all the three things, ovary, style, stigma together is called pistil or carpel. Pistil or carpel. This pistil, sometimes it is single, sometimes it is many. Syncarpus, apocarpus, we discussed in the last slide. Okay, the continuation of the slide is megasporangia, the word we are using for plural. Okay, then megasporangium is singular. This megasporangium singular is exactly responsible for holding megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell is present inside the megasporangium. Megasporangia is plural, megasporangium is singular, like this I already told to you. Okay, this megaspore mother cell are the part of megasporangium. Megasporangium is the part of is a part of is a part of nucellus. Is a part of nucellus. Nucellus is a part of ovule. So so ovule or megasporangium is a megaspore mother cell, which is making the megaspore. Megaspore is making the female gametophyte. Female gametophyte is also called as embryo sac, like this we told in the last session, right? This embryo sac is going to make the egg, also called as female gamete, also called as female sex cell, also called as haploid sex cell of the ovary. Haploid sex cells of the ovary, egg, right? So they will use multiple term. Be very careful. Okay. So sometimes instead of saying carpal pistil, instead of saying egg, they'll say female gamete or female sex cell or haploid sex cell of the ovary. They will use multiple terms. Okay, here the question will be not asked directly. Define pistil, explain megasporangium, draw the structure of embryo sac, and all they won't say. Okay, so then what question will come? Female gametophyte or embryo sac? Female gametophyte or embryo sac, like this I already told you. Female gametophyte for making the egg, required how many mitosis and how many meiosis process? So 3 mitosis process and 1 meiosis process. So 1 meiosis process and 3 mitosis process are required to make 1 egg. So in the CBSE board exam, again back in mathematical biology, for making 23 egg, so you need to multiply this 3 into 23, 1 into 23. So you will get this many number of mitosis, this many number of meiosis. So instead of using the word mitosis, they will say reduction division. Reduction division for meiosis process. Mitosis is called multiplication division. So how many reduction and multiplication division are required for making 67 egg? Like this they will say. So mathematical biology questions are appearing in the board exam. Be very careful with this. This session is not for doing the CBSE. Okay, this session is we need to get the maximum score in the board exam, right? For that only this session is exclusively meant for, right? So now megasporangium, the word denotes the other term for the ovule, right? Uh, this ovule is also called as megasporangium. Okay. The funicle is connecting the ovule and the placenta. What do you mean about placenta? Where it is present exactly? In the ovary. In the ovary, where it is present exactly in the corner of the ovary. Who is that placenta? Okay, this placenta is a nourishing structure. For what? For ovule. Who is ovule? Ovule is holding the egg. We need to ask question. Okay, where is egg? Inside the ovule. Who is nourishing ovule? This placenta. Who is placenta? Inside the ovary. Okay, where is the ovary? Inside the female reproductive system. What is the other name of female reproductive system? What is the other name of female reproductive system that we already told you? Gynoecium. This gynoecium is having megasporangium or ovule. This gynoecium is having megasporangium or ovule. This ovule is having the egg to do the fertilization process, right? So we need to understand the nucellus structure is the other term for integument, a coverage of the ovule, which is going to nourish the ovule. Why ovule require nourishment? Then only the ovule slowly, once the fertilization is getting completed, it is going to become the seed. If I need the seed, I need the ovule. Okay, how this process happens after the fertilization? Where the fertilization happens? Inside the ovule. What do you mean about fertilization? Male gamete, female gamete fusion. These two fusion, male gamete and female gamete fusion, make zygote. This zygote inside the ovule, zygote along with the ovule is going to become the seed. Okay, zygote along with the ovule is going to become the seed, right? The seed outer cover is formed by whom? Integument. Integument. Fertilization completed. What is the fate of the ovule? Ovule is going to become seed along the zygote. Okay. What is the fate of integument? Integument is going to become seed coat. Okay. What is the fate of the hilum? How it works exactly? Hilum is the ovule pore. Hilum is the ovule pore, you are saying. Okay. If the seed is formed, what is the fate of the hilum? Hilum is going to become seed sore. The seed opening is called the hilum. Like this, we should not say the seed sore is formed from hilum. Okay, the seed is having a micro opening. If you're taking chenna or if you're taking moong dal, okay, like this, if you're taking any varieties of sprouts, okay, you can see the small micro opening. We used to call it seed sore, which is the development of hilum. The word we are using in kidney also. In kidney also, the small opening is there. That is also called as hilum. So we should be very careful for us. Here, the teachers told hilum the word is nothing but opening every word. Like this, you should not think. Hilum the word I can use for kidney, I can use for ovule opening, but hilum the word I can't say for male reproductive system. This hilum the word, it is exclusively for female reproductive system alone. Be very careful, right? So the microphyll is the opening. Microphyll is opening. Here in this opening, the hilum we already narrated for you. See this micropyle area, and what is this area called? Chaleza area. So this box is micropyle area. This opening is called hilum. Again, back I'm saying to you, the area of the hilum is called micropyle. The quite opposite area is called chaleza. This arrangement of the chaleza and micropyle, we used to call the condition as anatrophous ovule. Anatrophous ovule indicates this is the way the chaleza, and quite opposite to this micropyle will exist. Okay. In chaleza area, the unusual structure antipodals exist. What it does exactly? So this three white dot you given, what is this antipodal? What it does? Nothing. Zero. Why it is existing? Yes. It won't do anything. I'm antipodal. I will remain mum. I will take I will what I will do. I will just for sake I will remain. I won't do anything. My name is antipodal. Like this it is existing. Then what is this structure? What is this structure? Synergites. How it helps the fertilization process. So the movement of the male gamete into the ovary is because of synergide. This synergide is making the pollen tube entry into this. When the pollen tube is getting entry through the pollen tube, the male gamete also enters. And once the male gamete is getting the embryo sac structure, in this embryo sac structure, the male gamete and female gamete fuses. Female gamete fuses to get fertilization process, so the zygote will be formed. So we should be very careful in understanding all these messages, right? So here, again back, I'm saying to you, calmly you listen to me. Do not worry about it, okay? Here, this chalaza, the word, indicates the base of the ovary. The quite opposite of the chalaza is micropyle. The opening of the micropyle is called hilum. In the hilum area, what exactly present is synergide. This synergide is mainly responsible for making the pollen tube entry to happen. So once the pollen tube is getting entry, through that male gamete is delivered to reach the female gamete. So for what for? To do the fertilization process. So once these two gametes are getting fused, you're going to get zygote, right? Now we are entering into the next important concept. The nucellus is their structure, a nourishing structure, of course, okay? And this nourishing structure also holds the embryo sac, which is nothing but the female gametophyte, which is going to make the egg. Okay, for making one egg, I require how many mitosis? I told you 3 mitosis. Okay, and I require 1 meiosis process. Okay, how many synergides are there inside the micropyle? 2 synergides are there. How many antipodals are there? 3 antipodals are there. So 3 antipodals. So for making 3 antipodals, for making 2 synergides, for making 1 egg, we required 3 mitosis and 1 meiosis. Okay. Inside the ovary, only 1 female gamete is there. Inside okay, this is not a female gamete. Then what is this 2 dot exactly denotes? What is this 2 dots exactly denotes? These 2 dots exactly denotes primary polar nuclei. Okay, this is not an egg. Then what is this? This is the egg. Then what is this 2 synergides? So this 2 white dot denotes synergide. That we already told you. This denotes egg. Then what is this 2 dot denotes? Okay, primary polar nuclei. I already told to you, when we are saying the plural, the word plural, okay, instead of saying the word 2 primary nucleus, we can say nuclei. Nuclei. Nuclei is a plural, nucleus is singular. This 2 primary polar nucleus is there in the center of the ovary. Once it is getting fused, it is going to make secondary polar nucleus. It is going to make secondary polar nucleus. This is very, 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 very important for getting evolved as endosperm. This will happen when the other genetic cell is getting fused. So endosperm formation, which is going to nourish the zygote to become embryo. The zygote will become embryo. The zygote is formed because of the fusion of male and female gamete fusion. So male and female gamete fusion makes zygote. Zygote is going to become embryo. This embryo is formation from zygote is because of endosperm nourishment. This endosperm is formed because of genetic cell and secondary polar nucleus fusion. Secondary polar nucleus is formed because of 2 primary polar nucleus fusion. Where it is present exactly? It is present in the center of the ovary. So we should be very careful. Multiple attached sentence are there for each and every word. Okay, each and every sentence. We should be very careful in knowing all this information. Right now, we already narrated for you the integument. What we told as of now, everything is present here. This integument is going to become a seed coat. You know very well. Okay, this integument is going to become seed coat. What is the fate of the ovary wall after fertilization? It is going to become fruit wall. It is going to become fruit wall. Then who will become fruit? Fruit wall is different. Fruit is different. The ovary is going to become fruit. Ovary is going to become fruit. What is this funicle? It's a stack which connects the ovule along with the placenta. This is the placenta. Placenta, the word we are using in human being, animals, and plant also. This placenta is going to hold the what? This placenta is going to hold what? The ovule with the help of funicle. With the help of funicle. Okay. Okay. Once the fertilization is getting completed, the ovary wall is going to become fruit wall. The ovary is going to become fruit, and the placenta is going to become what? The placenta is going to become fruit. The placenta along with the ovary tissues is going to become fruit. Okay. Now, uh, this much information we discuss with you. Be very careful with all the terms. Okay, in the CBSE board exam, they will ask what is the fate of integument, what is the fate of ovary wall, what is the fate of megasporocyte. This megasporocyte is also called as what? This megasporocyte is also called as what? Megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell. Okay, we need to refer multiple dictionary. Okay, and we need to have a lot of technology accumulation in our mind. Megaspore mother cell you are saying, megasporocyte you are saying, also called as what? Also called as what? This megasporocyte is also called as what? Is also called as what? Is also called as what? Myocyte mother cell. Myocyte mother cell. Why? Why it is called myocyte mother cell? Why? Because this myocyte mother cell is going to make the megaspore by meiosis process. By meiosis process. This megaspore is also called as myocyte. It's also called as myocyte. So myocyte, the word I'm using for megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell, no. Megaspore. Who is making the megaspore? Megaspore mother cell. Megaspore mother cell is also called as what? Uh, is also called as what? Myocyte mother cell. Megaspore mother cell or myocyte mother cell makes megaspore also called as myocyte. So some in the board exam, sometimes instead of saying megaspore, they're saying myocyte. Instead of saying myocyte, they're saying megaspore. Instead of saying megaspore mother cell, they're saying myocyte mother cell. Instead of saying myocyte mother cell, megaspore mother cell. Instead of saying these two cells, they're saying the word 2N. Instead of saying megaspore, they're saying single N in the ovary. Multiple difficulties are coming. Board exam is not easy. It's not easy. That is why we are bringing difficult question. Why we are here for explaining the multiple terms to confuse you? No, to face the board exam, right? We are not killing your time and our time. This myocyte is also called as megaspore. Can we use the same myocyte, the word I can use for male spore also? Yes, of course. This microspore, also called as, this is called female myocyte. Male myocyte is also called as what? Microspore. So male myocyte is also called as what? Microspore. So this male myocyte also called as what? Microspore. Male myocyte also called as microspore. Female myocyte also called as megaspore. Right? So this megaspore is formed by megaspore mother cell, also called as myocyte mother cell. Right? So understanding multiple term is very, very important, or else will disappear in the board exam. Biology board exam is not so easy, right? So now we are coming for the next important segment, uh, which is MMC is making the megaspore by a process called meiosis process. So instead of saying meiosis process, we can say reduction division. Okay, reduction division. So this megaspore is formed by megaspore mother cell. Because of this process, how many megaspores are formed? 4 megaspores are formed by 1 megaspore mother cell. In this 4 megaspore, 3 will degenerate. 3 will degenerate. I can't sustain. I can't sustain. I am worthless. Like this 3 is going for degeneration, whereas 1 alone sustain and thrives very nicely, and then it is responsible for making the egg. So if 4 thrives, we'll be having the 4 egg. But in the nature, we are not observing 4 egg. We are observing only 1 egg. How come it is possible? Because the reason is the 3 megaspore is going for degeneration. right? So now we need to understand in this entire process. Okay, so we are zooming and then we are exposing to you for your better understanding, right? If you're talking about the structure, when you're observing our portal, you can see the eight nucleated embryo sac. In the CBSE board exam, how eight nucleate came? How it is possible? Primary polar nucleus, 2 in number, okay. Egg, 1 in number, okay. Synergites, 2 in number, okay. Then antipodals, 3 in number, okay. So totally 8 nucleus are there. Can you detail 8 nucleated embryo sac? We need to say 2 primary polar nucleus, 1 egg nucleus, 2 synergine nucleus, 3 antipodal nucleus. So 8 nuclear embryo sac. Okay, and that is going to become 7 nucleated embryo sac in this structure. How come it is possible? This 2 primary polar nucleus, once it is getting fused, you are going to get secondary polar nucleus in 1 in number. This secondary polar nucleus and egg and all these things put together is going to become 7. Here in this structure, we can use the word 8. Yes, of course, not 7. Then here we can use in this particular place 8, in this particular place 7, this particular place 7, right? So here the last stage, the 8 is going to become 7, or 7 is going to become 8, not 8, only 7. Here 8 is there, right? So this slowly will change into 7. The 8 will become 7 in this place. How this is possible? Why? Because of the fusion of 2 primary polar nucleus. So in the board exam, they will not discuss in detail about megasporangium. Like this, they won't ask why 8, why 7, why 8, why 7, why it is called dense cytoplasm. Dense cytoplasm means nutrients are much more. For that, you will get only half mark. I need to get full mark. So you say grains. Again, back you say what? Starch grains. So starch grains are much more in it. That is why it is denser with a lot of cell organelles. Cell organelles are huge. Nutrients are huge. That is why cytoplasm is thicker. Okay, here the nucleus is prominent. Why? Why the nucleus is prominent? Why? Because the replication means DNA synthesis. RNA synthesis is called transcription. So this replication and transcription is much more. There is a reason why it is having a huge amount of DNA and RNA in it. That is the reason why here the nucleus is what? Denser and more prominently visible with very good exposure when you are examining under the high resolution microscope, right? So transcription and replication is much more in this nucleus in this instant. Why we need to say the word prominent? The nucleus is having well established DNA and RNA. Why it is called packed? Denser. Why it is denser? Nutrients are much more. Okay, how nutrients are much more? Okay, granules are much more. What is that granule name? Starch granules. Where it is present exactly? Where it is present exactly? In the megaspore. So we should be very careful. Okay, they won't ask direct question. Okay, explain in detail about megasporogenesis, and all they are not asking the question, right? So we should be very careful in knowing all this information, right? So I think so. You understood this message. Now we are coming for the one megaspore is typically functional. That means 3 gone for degeneration. 3 gone for degeneration that we already told, right? So we can say monosporing. Monosporing. When we explain about the male, always the special police, special CBA officer, intelligence bureau director, when they are talking about monosporic for female, if I'm saying their mind will blink, what I can use for male, what I can use for male. Okay, polysporic. Why it is called polysporic? All the all the male gametophytes sustains, unlike female. All the male gametophytes sustains. So monosporic means polysporic. Where the word I can use for male gametophyte. So your mind should work with very good smart level. So with a lot of interesting mindset, then only what we can balance the equation of learning, right? So megaspore nucleus divides during mitosis process to make two nuclei, two nuclei, right? So this is the first process. So is this is the only one way? No, many, many, many. So indirectly they are saying this process two nuclear embryo sac. Okay, megaspores nucleus are making two nucleus. What do you mean about that? It is making two haploid cells. So how many N are formed? Two N are formed. Okay, how many haploid cells are formed? Two N are two single N. Okay, either you use the word haploid, either you say the word N, or either you say the word either you say the word either you say the word myocyte. So myocyte, female myocyte, haploid female sex cell, haploid female sex cell, or female myocyte, or how many N is formed? Two N is formed. So multiple tough question will be asked. How many two single N is formed in the megasporogenesis, which is nothing but which is nothing but which is nothing but formation of megaspore by megasporangium. Okay, formation of megaspore by megasporangium is called megasporogenesis. Genesis means synthesis. Genesis means synthesis, right? So we should be very, very careful in knowing all this information, right? So now we are entering into the next segment. Uh, Here in this particular area, you are observing the two synergites and one egg cell are the part of egg apparatus. On the part of egg apparatus, this egg apparatus is quietly acentric. Acentric means not exactly in the center of the ovule. This entire structure is what? Ovule. So inside this entire structure is ovule. So the ovule outer cover is called ovary. So inside the ovary, ovule is present. Inside the ovule, synergites and egg cell together makes egg apparatus, which is acentric. Can you narrate the location of the egg apparatus? Egg apparatus is acentric and it is quite adjacent to the egg, but exclusively present in the micropyle area, quite adjacent to hyla. Hyla, the word denotes plural that we should not supposed to use. Hilum, hilum, singular. So the ovule opening is called hilum. Okay, and this place is called micropyle. The opening is called hilum, whereas the place is called micropyle. In this place, egg apparatus is present. That is narrating acentric arrangement. Like this, we need to write the sentence properly. If you're thinking you're great, and then if you're saying it is present in the corner of the ovule, like this, if you're writing, instead of getting 1 mark, you will get only quarter mark. Your answer sheets are going to the great Kendra Vidyalaya school teachers. Okay, Lavodia school teachers, their expectation is very, very high. Okay, we need to narrate the sentence properly with proper explanation, or else we'll be in problem, right? Now means we'll get less mark. Okay, be very careful when they're asking the question. We need to write a lot, right? To the core, not unusual explanation, right? Okay, now the filiform structure is formed by whom? By the synergites. So why this filiform structure is required? Where it is required exactly? It is required exactly at the micropyle area. This filiform structure is very, very, very important for making the pollen tube entry to happen exactly at the micropyle area. In the micropyle area, the synergite's existence is very important to make the filiform structure. Okay, this is the pollen tube. We know very well the pollen tube is coming from the pollen grain after getting attachment to the stigma of the female reproductive system, and this pollen tube after getting entry into the ovule, uh, the pollen tube destination direction is geared by whom? My name is Sanjay. I am the filiform structure. I will guide you how to reach the egg. Okay, like this, who is saying the synergites structure is nothing but filiform apparatus, which is explaining, right? The filiform apparatus guides the pollen tube entry towards the egg, right? Now, I already told you many number of times, 7 cells and 8 nucleus are present. So here one egg is having one nucleus, synergites, 2 synergites are having 2 nucleus, and 3 antibodies are having 3 nucleus, and primary polar nucleus are are 2 in number, 2 nucleus. So here, if you're calculating all these things, it is coming as 8. Then how it becomes 7? The two primary polar nucleus, one primary polar nucleus, another primary polar nucleus fuses. So then this 2 will become 1. Because of that, the 8 is becoming 7. 8 is becoming 7. 8 is becoming 7. Okay, so we should be very, very careful. Okay, how the 8 becomes 7? Because the two primary polar nucleus become 1. The reason we should narrate appropriately for the board exam, or else there will be a problem, right? In this structure, we always ask questions to as many number of time beside the insects who does pollination, birds does pollination. Beside birds, who does pollination? Lizard does pollination. Yes. Snail does pollination. Snake does pollination while moving from flower to other flower. But maximum pollination is because of insects. Because of insects. Because of insects, right? So why the insect need to depend upon the flowers? Depends upon the flower. It depends upon the flower because of the nourishing molecule nectar is available in nectary structure of the stamen. Okay, stamen is having nectary. So this nectar is rich in nectar. This is a wages for the insect to do the pollination, right? So by seeing the structure, we need to narrate everything in detail, right? So here the autogamous means here the male and female reproductive system are having the closer proximity. I already told to you for each and every sentence, hidden sentences are there. For example, I'm a doctor. One patient came to my clinic. I'll see uh, how much facial puffiness is there. Okay, and I am giving some pen to write. Can you give your address so that when we are visiting your place, we'll reach your house? So yeah, the concerned person is not writing properly the address. Okay, the hand is shaking, the pen is shaking, and I'm asking him to explain how to reach Dubai Festival City. The concerned person is saying, okay, in a wavering mind, without any proper explanation, so that what I'm understanding is a continuous drinker, right? So, like this, how being a doctor, I'm examining the autogamy means it is in closer proximity. Okay, what is the hidden meaning behind that? Self pollination. Self pollination. Being a patient, I'm having a lot of facial puffiness when my doctor is asking me to talk something. I'm not having the continuous flow. I'm here and there, I'm getting stuck, and I'm not having the confidence that he observed. And then he asked whether you are having the drinking habit. Okay, yes, like this, the concerned patient is saying, like this, in the autogamy, what is the hidden meaning? Cell pollination. What is the outcome of cell pollination? Less variation. Less variation. So you see, you take date plan, okay, how many size and shape of the dates we are observing in all the grocery shop? Okay, Saudi dates, Qatar dates, Kuwait dates, okay, Libya dates, so many varieties of dates of various size, shape, color, taste, because of the cross pollination, not because of self pollination. While keeping on saying this message, the date plants are not a bisexual plant, it's a unisexual plant. Male date plant is separate, female date plant is separate, unlike our China rose hibiscus. China rose hibiscus is a bisexual flower. Is a bisexual flower. China rose hibiscus is a bisexual flower. Okay. So those flower, can I fit in autogamy? Can I fix date in autogamy? Like this, we need to think. We need to correlate. can you take the plants which is nearby to me? Can I fix it? Can I fix any one of the plant under the orthogamy? Like this, we need to think, right? So this is the way our mind should work with some interest. Then we won't forget the terms very easily, right? So interest is very, very important while studying. Okay, autogamous denotes the male and female reproductive system are in close proximity. That means it is there in the same flower. It is completely closed. Okay, chasmogamy, having the male and female gamete exposed. Okay, cleistogamy is completely closed. The male and female reproductive system are there inside the same flower. Okay, but and also the sepal and petal is completely closed, the male and female flower. Male and female reproductive organ is completely wrapped up by the sepal and petal. So there is no chance for cross-pollination. There is no chance of cross-pollination. Cleistogamy, there is no chance of cross-pollination. Chasogamy, there is a chance for cross-pollination, but lesser probability. But the chance for self-pollination is huge. Both are coming under autogamous. Both are coming under autogamous. Class chasmogamous and cleistogamous are coming under autogamous. Again, back I'm repeating. Okay, the chasmogamous, the anther and the stigma are oriented in different direction, whereas in cleistogamous, both are closed or encapsulated in the same structure. So in this, there is no chance of cross-pollination, only self-pollination. This is having the chance of cross-pollination, but probability is less. That the chance for self-pollination is maximum. So in the CBSE board exam, they'll ask in which flower maximum probability of self-pollination, okay, less probability of cross-pollination. Okay, maximum probability of cross-pollination, less probability of self-pollination. Like this, they'll ask twisted questions. So with your understanding credential, we should write the narration. We should give the narration properly, right? Gametogamy, the movement of pollen from one flower to the stigma or the other flower, it denotes gametogamy. Here, the same plant means, for example, hibiscus is having so many flowers in it, right? So if it is getting transferred, then we are calling as gametogamy, right? So this autogamy is happening in the same flower. Chasmogamy is happening in the same flower. Cleistogamy happening in the same flower. In gametogamy, two different flower or the same plant. Two different flower of the same plant. Autogamy, same flower or the same plant. Same flower or the same plant. Not two different flower of the same plant. You should be very careful. So, can you give the example for the pollination happening inside the same flower alone? Okay, means autogamy, chasmogamous, cleistogamy. Two different flower on the same plant, gametogamy. So, you need to understand basically this probability denotes only bisexual flower, no unisexual flower. Auto, clasmo, and chasmo. Only I can say for bisexual flower, not for unisexual flower. I can't use. Whereas gametogamy confuses us. We can use for bisexual flower also, unisexual flower also. What do you mean about bisexual flower? I am a bisexual flower having both male and female reproductive organ in my body. Then I am a bisexual flower. I am a unisexual flower. Either I will have male or a female reproductive organ. Then there is a unisexual flower. So be very careful. In the CBSE board exam, they will ask multiple questions. So we know very well the bisexual flower, the word I can say for which one? These three. Okay, this is either bisexual or unisexual. Xenogamous denotes the transfer of the pollen from one plant to another plant. Might be of same variety, might be of different variety. So same variety and different variety, I'll give an example for you. Red hibiscus, between the red hibiscus and red hibiscus. Okay, this red hibiscus plant, then red hibiscus plant, rose hibiscus plant. So between these two plants, I can give as example for xenogamy. Xenogamy, you know, in the skin transplantation, for example, I lost my cheeks because of the acid spray in the lab accident. So they are taking the tissue from goat. They are sealing my mouth, skin tissues. This is a xenograft. Xenograft. So xenograft denotes the transplantation between the donkey and human, between the dog and human. Okay, if the transplantation happens in the same body, for example, the doctor are taking the thigh tissue and they're keeping at the thigh area, they're taking the thigh tissue and then they are sealing my mouth where I got the breakage. Okay, that is called autograft. Autograft. So the love towards the subject is very, very important. Okay, this autogamy, autograft, xenograft. I need to become a doctor. I need to save many patients. Okay, with that intention, many students are doing biology. Okay, for them, this correlation is very, very important. Now, if you're talking about here in this place, biotic agent and abiotic agent indirectly speaks about living species, non-living species, living species, non-living species. So living species like insects does pollination, non-living species like water and air does pollination, right? Anemophily, okay, by Wyndham. We'll have some wrong confusion. This anemo means animals. No, no, it is the wind pollination, right? So here, if you are talking about the CBSE textbook, they are not told about ornithophily. So ornitho means bird pollination. So we are hiding certain terms and we are talking up to the CBSE limit, right? In this class, because to take you for the board, okay? So the wind pollination denotes air pollination, water pollination, hydrophily, hydrophily, hydrophily. The phily, the suffix we can use for hydrophily. Okay, hydrophily means water pollination, right? So this inflorescence is having many different difficulties. Okay, inflorescence, one meaning, group of small flowers. In which context they are using, how they are using matters. Plant classification based on the flower arrangement. That is also called as inflorescence. In other context, inflorescence denotes group of small flowers. In other context, inflorescence denotes floral mother cells. Floral mother cell. So we should be very careful with inflorescence. How they are using, in which context they are using, how they are correlating with multiple other concepts in this particular context. Okay, based on that, we need to confine this inflorescence means this, like this, we need to specify, and then we can say, we should say the answer for the question. Okay, inflorescence means floral mother axis, right? Okay, other meaning of inflorescence means group of small flowers, which is going to become the group of small fruits, going to become group of small fruits. For example, if you're talking about a custard apple, pomegranate, okay, and even if you're going to any village, if you're seeing the mango tree, you're not seeing one mango in the tree, you're seeing cluster of mango in the tree, right? So that denotes what it is an outcome of inflorescence. That means group of small flower become fruits, right? And group of flowers becomes group of coconuts. Even you go to coconut tree, you are seeing the cluster of coconuts. You're not seeing one coconut separately, right? So there is a meaning of inflorescence. So inflorescence means how many examples I can bring. What is the reason for inflorescence? What is the outcome of inflorescence? Okay, how many type of inflorescence? Like this, we need to bring everything in our mind. Then we can face the CBSE board exam. Right? Now, we are coming for the next segment is called pollination. If you're talking about the pollination, I already told to you the water pollination is happening with the monocotyledon denotes having single cotyledon. Single cotyledon means nourishing structure is single, right? But don't decide cotyledon alone explains the nourishing structure. Okay, in the forthcoming slide, we are going to use the word cotyledon. Other than cotyledon, we are going to use the word scutellum. Okay, many nourishing structures are there. Endosperm is a nourishing structure. Tapetum is a nourishing structure. Okay, tapetum nourishes sporon growing. Vegetable cell nourishes generative cell. Okay, so nourishing the word under that category, we are bringing the word cotyledon. So for facing the exam, board exam, cotyledon I need to bring, endosperm I need to bring vegetative cell, I need to bring tapetum. All these are all the nourishing structures. Nucellus is a nourishing structure, which nourishes what? Which nourishes the ovule. Okay, so cotyledon means tomorrow morning I'm having the board exam. I need to bring all the nourishing structure in my mind. Then I can face the exam properly. Pollen grain or in the water medium, the female gamete are there in the female flowers, right? So you know very well the moment when you are seeing the Vallisneria is not a marine plant; it is a freshwater plant. Then that I can see in the river, in the lake, in the pond, but not in the sea. Okay, whereas if you're talking about Zoostera is a marine plant, right? This Vallisneria, okay, it transits the pollen grain from male to female. The female flower is above the water, whereas male flower is inside the water, is completely submerged in the water. So in Vallisneria, so the probability of insect pollination in the Vallisneria is zero. The probability of water pollination is 100%. So it does hydrophily. Okay, so Vallisneria falls into hydrophily, not anemophily, not entomophily. What do you mean about entomophily? Insect pollination. Insect pollination, right? So this entomo, okay, entomo denotes what? Insect pollination, right? So now, if you're talking about the female flower or the sea grasses, is submerged in the water. Sea grass is also called zoostera. Zoostera. Okay, so what word they will ask in the board exam? We don't know. Seagrass. Okay, which does the pollen grain transfer, right? So this pollen grain is sustaining the water medium without contamination because of the strong water repellent layer called mucilaginous layer. So this mucilio, genus, the word that I'm saying, the mucin, the word should not come to your mind. Is present in the bacteria. This is there in the bacteria. Don't use the mucin, the word here, right? This mucilaginous layer of the pollen grain is a water repellent molecule, is a water repellent layer. That means a negative hydrophobic interaction. Negative hydrophobic interaction or hydrophilic interaction. Negative hydrophilic interaction, the word I am saying for the water mediated pollination, right? So negative hydrophilicity is observed in mucilaginous layer, both per right? So we should be very careful with all these things. Now we are entering into the next important question called the insect pollinators. How it does pollination while transferring the pollen grain? Okay, here the can you see the place, the legs? Okay, that is one thing. Okay, to the body surface also pollen grain is getting attached. Okay, now we need to understand the entomophily, the word we already told to you for the insect pollination, animal pollination, ornithophily for the avians or birds, we already told to you long back. Okay, like this we can say many varieties. For example, for lizard, mediated pollination. Okay, saurophily. Okay, saurophily. Okay, for insects, serpentophily. So the snakes are kept in a serpentophily. Okay, the serpento means snakes. Sauro means lizard. So lizard pollination, right? So now the pollination is happening because the animals or water or insect. Okay, this pollination, once it is getting completed, the fertilization is initiated. Okay, what is the outcome of pollination? Okay, why the pollination should happen? For fertilization to happen. Before pollination, what happens? Pollen grain formation happens. Okay, so like this, what we are discussing this concept under post fertilization even or pre-fertilization even. Pre-fertilization, it is a part of pre-fertilization. So this pollination is a part of pre-fertilization event, right? So now the amorphophallus, okay, here indicates, okay, here it is having some plants offers secure location. Okay, here it is giving the reward for egg laying. Okay, so whose egg is laid here? Insect egg is laid here. Okay, here this most of the insects prefers this amorphophallus plant because this plant is given the platform to lay the egg of the insect. So the insect eggs are placed properly, so that what this insect egg will develop into new insect once it is getting hatched. These all things is okay. Here in this context, this egg is not a plant egg. This is not a plant egg. This is the insect egg laid in the amorphous plant. So be very careful what they are saying.